What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Mark Thompson back for another exciting episode of the AVOPodcast. I'm back this week talking NBA headlines, of course. Carson Wentz made a big return last week, and one thing that's on my mind, why we should respect Kevin Durant. I gotta start with Kevin Durant because he sounded off this week saying how everybody is hating and not appreciating his skill because he won't get looked at for individual awards anymore, such as MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. I find it really far-fetched that KD doesn't get these type of looks anymore, but it's mainly because of the team that he plays for and the caliber of players that he plays with. So let me just take a moment and remind y'all who Kevin Durant is, just in case y'all forgot. Since Kevin Durant has joined the Golden State Warriors, he's become a more efficient player than he was his final season in Oklahoma City. He plays 4 less minutes, which gives him 34 minutes a game. He played 38 minutes a game in Oklahoma City. His points are down a little bit. I mean, he's at 26 points per game. Whoa, that's really down compared to his 28 points per game in Oklahoma City. His shooting percentage is actually up. He shoots 53%. That was his first year with Golden State. And last season, he shot 51% his second year, which is awesome. When his final season in Oklahoma City, he shot 50%. So he's been on the money. He's been a much efficient player since he has joined the Warriors. And he's shooting 41% from 3. And his assists are up. He's at 5.4 assists a game. So he's out here swinging the ball. I get it. He has more weapons. Clay, Steph, Draymond Green. But he's moving the ball a lot more than he did in Oklahoma City when it was just him and Russ. Listen to KD as he addresses everybody hating and not appreciating his skills since joining the Golden State Warriors.
You know they're not going to give me anything. Even if it's on the fence, I have to be clear-cut better than everybody for me to even get a look. So,
why do you think that is?
I mean, it's just pure hate for me, obviously, and no appreciation for my real skill for the game. But I get it. I understand where we're coming from. I understand what we have here in this building that scares everybody. But for me, I was just proud of the growth that I had in that area, whereas I just wanted to be able to be relied on to guard anybody. You know, accolades, that stuff, that stuff is kind of long gone for me, unless it's like, you know, finals or something like that, where it's probably pretty even. But, you know, regular season awards, I mean, I'm never going to get a look when it comes to that, especially playing here for the Warriors.
You were checking James Harden on the ball in the Western Conference Finals. Are these folks not watching?
Yeah, they're not.
How about...
Those are just the numbers. Let me get a little bit into the accolades. You know, that's really where this all started. So, just in case y'all forgot, Kevin Durant is now a 2-time NBA champion. 2-time Finals MVP, 2014 MVP of the regular season, 4-time scoring champ, 2008 Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-NBA First Team, 9-time NBA All-Star, 2012 All-Star MVP, Consensus National Player of the Year in 2007 at Texas, Naismith Men's College Basketball Player of the Year, also at Texas, first freshman to ever do that. So in case y'all forgot, KD has been balling for a long time. Those are a list of his accolades, and it's time for y'all to start respecting that man again. I get it. The move that he made to Golden State, it wasn't the best move. A lot of people didn't agree with it, but you have to respect that man. I'll be honest. I was upset when I first heard that Kevin Durant was going to the Golden State Warriors, especially since they had just lost to them in the playoffs. They only just had to win one more game and they would have been in the NBA Finals, but they blew a 3-1 lead. I felt like it was a weak move, but right now, I get it 100%. He changed this situation. He took control. Like, why be good when you can be great? Why stay in an environment that isn't the best for you? Right now, millennials are slowly changing the narrative, and he's taking control of his destiny. For example, why would you stay at a bad job if the money's okay and there's terrible work conditions? When you can go to a company, be more successful with better work conditions, but have an opportunity to make more money in the long haul because of your success at this new company. Since joining Golden State, Kevin Durant has won 2 NBA championships, is now 2-1 in the NBA Finals, and is about to be 3-1. Once Golden State wins the championship this year, and they will win, Kevin Durant will be tied with LeBron James with 3 rings. Just with a better finals record, Kevin Durant will now be 3-1. If Kevin Durant stays in Golden State and Golden State stays together, I am certain LeBron James will not win another ring in his career. KD will then have more rings. Will you respect KD then?
With your curls, your lips, tear up my hips. Gotta hop into my jeans like I hop into my whip, yeah. Mopping it up, hoodie like Mellow. Come up, I got pretty motherfucker like hello, hello. I will never let you shoot the nose off my Pharaoh, yeah.
I like purple and purple rain.
You know you big time when you can get a reference in a song from Queen B. Talking about my man Melo. Not just any regular Melo. We talking about Hoodie Melo. He made it to the song. But speaking of my man Hoodie Melo, Carmelo Anthony is now a member of the Houston Rockets. And we are hearing chatters again. Should Melo come off the bench? It's crazy. Why are we hearing things like this? I know the game has changed so much, and I know Melo is considered an isolation ball player, but let's be real. His skills hasn't deteriorated that much to the point where this man should even be questioned about coming off the bench. And I'm going to talk to y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all why he should not be coming off the bench, especially if he's used properly and have the right tools around him. In recent years, you'll see Carmelo Anthony line up on the low block or maybe catch the ball at the elbow, work his man out, and try to get a bucket. But if you study the game and actually look and see when and where Carmelo Anthony is most effective, it's definitely not him playing isolation basketball. He can do it. He's one of the greatest scorers at all time. But if you want to maximize your players, you want to look and see what works for him. Just from being a Melo fan and also doing my research, one thing I've noticed is that Carmelo Anthony actually plays better with pass first point guards. And you got to think, when's the last time Carmelo Anthony has actually played with pass first point guards? Well, I'll tell you one. Chauncey Billups played fantastic with Chauncey Billups. It worked out because plays were actually run for Carmelo. He was coming off of screens, hitting jumpers, or, coming around screens, getting mismatches, and he was able to be more effective. And with him being in Houston, playing with two playmakers and primary ball handlers, I think this is a fantastic situation for him. James Harden is one of the best assist men and scorer in the league, and same as Chris Paul. So we're talking about two pure playmakers, and I think this can help Carmelo go a long way. But I want you to look back and think about the history and if Carmelo Anthony is used properly. For example, one of Carmelo Anthony's best seasons is in 2006-2007 when he played under George Karl. He averaged 28.9 points a game, and that's exactly how George Karl used him. He used him in a low block, ran plays for him, had him coming off screens, spotting up, setting screens for him, you name it. He didn't just give the ball to Melo and said, hey, do your thing. Also, another fantastic season for Melo was in 2009-2010. He averaged 28.2 points per game. And this is when he had Chauncey Billups. He had just made the trade, Allen Iverson, and got Chauncey Billups back in return. And they also had George Karl. George Karl, for real, let's talk about George Karl. He's actually one of the greatest coaches in NBA history. He has 1,175 wins, and he's only had two teams that had a record below 500. Come on, yo. That's number 6 in NBA history for wins. So George Karl ain't no slouch. So that means he knows what he's doing. So I don't see why coaches who've used Melo in the past can't use his strengths the way George Karl used them. So to answer the question, is Melo a starter or a bench player? You damn right he's a starter. Who's going to start over him? Gerald Green? That's not happening. Eric Gordon? No, we good on that. That's definitely not happening. They don't have Trevor Ariza anymore. So the thought of even bringing Melo off the bench is just asinine and doesn't make sense whatsoever. There's a lot of media and analysts out there saying that Carmelo will be great for the second unit. No, he wouldn't be great for the second unit because no plays would be run for him. It would be him in isolation basketball once again, and that is not what works best for him. He can do it. He's great at doing it, but I'm talking about maximizing your players. So you have him out there on the floor with Chris Paul and James Harden, you will definitely get the most out of Carmelo Anthony. People will ask, well, why didn't it work with Russ last year? Russ averages a triple-double. Yeah, but Russ isn't truly a pass-first point guard. He doesn't really set the team up. Like, a lot of Russ assists, if you pay attention, are from transition. It's not in the half court. Like, it's rare when Russ assists are truly in the half court unless he's driving and kicking. For the most part, it's Russ running full steam ahead and kicking it. Didn't really work for Melo. and it didn't work in New York. So run plays for Melo, maximize him, and yes, he is a starter. And also put respect on my man Melo's name. I'm just angry today. I'm angry. You're not respecting KD, and you're not respecting Melo. He's talking about some all-time greats right here, future Hall of Famers. Stop playing. Staying with hoops, because of course this is my favorite time of the year, Kyrie Irving said that the Celtics are about to take over the East and that they're built to beat Golden State. I mean, Tristan Thompson, he disagrees. You know, they've been to 4 Eastern Conference Finals, Cleveland. You know, the LeBron-less Cavs. So according to Tristan Thompson, in order to take over the East, they got to beat the Cavs. I don't think that's going to be a hard task for Boston. But the reason I bring it up is because I feel like my Sixers are being overlooked. But I'm not sitting here saying the Sixers are going to be number 1 because I don't think they are. Boston, they are right to say that they are number 1, but the Sixers are up there. I'd say when you look at the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, I would say Boston number 1 because now they're healthy. They got Kyrie Irving back, Gordon Hayward back, and their young players that they had last season were forced to grow up. Scary Terry, forced to grow up. Jason Tatum, he grew up so fast, had everybody wishing that he went number 1 instead of Markelle Fultz. That's how fast he grew up. Jaylen Brown developed a jump shot, was able to make some shots off the dribble, and is a fantastic slasher. So yeah, as of right now, I say Boston is number 1. Toronto number 2. They essentially have the same team, but now they have Kawhi Leonard. But he's a better player than DeMar DeRozan, so they improve all around. They don't really miss a step by adding Kawhi Leonard. They just truly get better. So I'll have them at number 2. And at number 3, the Sixers, of course. You know we got Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, but I feel like a lot of this may come down to Markelle Fultz and seeing what he's able to deliver us. With the Sixers not being able to make any big splashes during the offseason, not able to acquire Kawhi Leonard, sign LeBron James, or Paul George, I know a lot of Philadelphia fans may feel that it was an unsuccessful offseason, but that's not true. We won over 50 games last season. We have the capability to do something like that again. And with LeBron James being gone out of the Eastern Conference, now in the Western Conference, the East is wide open. So I feel like those 3 teams will definitely be fighting for the number 1 seed in the East, barring no injuries. And you also got Milwaukee, who's going to be chasing. And I really like Washington. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The acquisition of Dwight Howard, I feel like that's something that went under the radar, and that's going to help out tremendously for that team, especially with John Wall being one of the best point guards in the NBA. But just going back to the Sixers, it wasn't a complete failure for them at all. And adding Wilson Chandler, a great 3-and-D guy who's gritty, he's going to be able to get his own bucket, that was big. That was big, and it still gives us cap room to sign other players. Who knows, make some trades during the offseason, and we'll be able to see what we'll get from Markelle Fultz. We'll be able to see improvements from Joel Embiid. I mean, people are forgetting these guys had an offseason to work out. Joel's been in the gym. Ben's been in the gym. Markelle's been in the gym. These guys have been proven. They haven't been chilling. 50 wins, that's not an accomplishment. It's good, but we still got more work to do. And that's to compete for an NBA championship. So those are my top 5 right now in the Eastern Conference. And it's going to be sight to see because I feel like those 5 teams are going to be beating up on each other. And that's usually what the Eastern Conference does. So it's going to be very competitive this year. And I cannot wait. Preseason is right around the corner. It's actually this weekend. This weekend, I'm ready. Can't wait to see how Markelle plays. Jump shot looking good. Shot over 150,000 jimmies. Let's get it, Sixers. The Ginger Jesus is back. Carson Wentz is back. Our leader, our quarterback, our future is back. He showed a little bit of rust, as he should. He's coming off an ACL injury, but he looked good against Indianapolis. He looked fair. He had 37 attempts, 25 completions, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. hey, it happens. He's not quite there yet, but the Eagles still came away with the win. The defense was outstanding, as always. Got a little bit of help from the offense this last week, but, oh man, it was great to see Carson back. He's very mobile, took a few hits, got right up. That's the one thing that made me the happiest. I was concerned about those instincts kicking in, going for the run, but Carson looked good. He bounced right back up. He was sharp. He was on the money. I was so happy to see Dallas Goedert get involved as well, because having a two-headed monster at tight end with Zach Ertz as well, it just gives us more weapons. And Alshon finally cleared to play, so I'm happy about that. He's cleared for contact, so we'll hear if Alshon will play Sunday, but I'm hoping that he does. The Eagles, they look good for the most part against Indianapolis. This week, though, they got Tennessee. And Tennessee, they always find a way. They just find a way to get a win. Now, when I first looked at the schedule, I said this would be the game the Eagles would lose because they would still be on their Super Bowl high. They started off the season 3-0, but some things have changed. And the Eagles, they've already took their first loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that loss right there brought the Eagles back to life. Now, I feel like this is the game where the Eagles are finally going to have a complete game offensively, a complete game defensively. We're going to get some help from the offense because the defense has been carrying this team thus far. So the defense for sure needs relief, and I think this is the game where it's going to happen. So I'm very excited about that. Jay Ajayi, he's still banged up. They're saying a fractured back. He needs to just sit down. Like, I know he's playing for a contract, but, bro, fractured back? Think about your career, bro. Think about your life. Like, come on. And Darren Sproles also returned to practice as well. So, getting Carson to have chemistry with these weapons, it's going to be great. Hopefully, we can get Nelson Aguilar going pretty soon. But as far as this Tennessee game, I got the Eagles coming out with the W. We need this, and it's time for us to hit the strides. October is around the corner, and it's time to get serious. We've 2-1 right now and looking to improve. Listen to Carson as he talks about getting back on the field with his brothers and starting out with the no-huddle offense.
First game back, just take us through how you felt getting back on the field and how do you evaluate your play?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good. I felt good to finally be out there. It's kind of a long time coming, obviously. A lot of excitement, a lot of emotions, but coming out the way we did with that hot start going right down the field, going some no-huddle tempo, I felt good.
So with that no-huddle and tempo, is that something you requested? What did that give you guys at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, Doug and I talked about it early in the week, and thought it would be something just kind of get me started, get the offense started, get us all starting fast. And he trusted us with it, and obviously the result was a good one.
And it did look good, for sure. Indianapolis, they wasn't ready for a no-huddle offense coming from us. They didn't study for that. They didn't really know what to expect from Carson Wentz. And it showed. And I'm glad we're able to pull out the victory and get that clutch defensive play towards the end. So, go Birds! This week, we're definitely beating Tennessee. Put some respect on Kevin Durant's name and put some respect on Carmelo Anthony's name because y'all being real disrespectful out there. So, once again, thank y'all for listening. It's your boy, Mark Thompson. Another exciting episode of the AVO Podcast. I'm going to catch y'all next week. Peace.